What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Shout out to everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting. You guys are freaking awesome. You're the reason that I do this every single day. Now, let's have a look at the markets. So, not really too much going on today. You know, I do like to give it a quick refresh from where I had it earlier. Actually, we went up. We went up $1 billion live on the air, guys. So as you can see here, I mean, we've basically still been doing that sideways pattern. Okay, we're seeing some green, not by a lot, but we are seeing a little bit of green as well. You know, we are coming up on the weekend again. Great time for potential accumulation for those of you out there that are, dollar cost averaging. That's always a really great strategy. Bitcoin dominance has fallen down just a little bit. It had touched 40%, and now it's pulling back a little bit, maybe putting some of those profits into the alts potentially. We'll see how that goes. And if we look at some of the biggest gainers of the day at 149%, we have Storiqa? I'm not really sure how you pronounce that. Kind of busting its way into the top 100 completely out of nowhere. So if we come over here, essentially, I was kind of browsing through the website. It looks like you can kind of buy stuff on it using crypto. So I guess the whole thing was that this officially got launched. I don't know if all the features are completely up and working because I'm trying to switch over here to ETH or ADA or NEM, and it's not working. But essentially, it looks like you can kind of buy products using the STQ token currently. Or you can't. Yeah, I don't know. I got to look into this. What is going on right now? So that's basically, I guess, people were really excited about that. We'll have to look more into that project as well. Some of the really good news coming out is you have Chinese president bullish on blockchain. He calls it a breakthrough technology. Let's see what else down here. He also said that technologies like the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and blockchain will keep the momentum of the fourth industrial revolution going. And this new generation of the industrial revolution is reshaping the economic structure. So that's kind of good news, guys. I mean, for a long time, we were really worried about Chinese stance on a lot that's going on with the blockchain. You know, we had the China FUD. I know I bring it up all the time, but man, if you guys ever, that was a scary time, especially for Neo holders. So that's really good news coming out. Now, what I found interesting was something that we talk about all the time, which is trying to decouple these coins from Bitcoin. So you have the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, essentially saying that, cryptocurrency prices have been highly correlated with Bitcoin, falling in lockstep for the first half of 2018. As we've seen, Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down, and it seems like everything goes down a lot harder as well. Although, when Bitcoin goes up, everything else tends to go up as well, a lot harder, which is good. But right now, it kind of sucked because it was going down. So that could be coming to an end as markets begin to understand the major differences between cryptocurrencies and their use cases. He says it's early. Over time, you'll see a more rational market and behaviors that reflect that. So I start thinking about utilizing things such as, for example, Ethos, right? The universal wallet. But see, the thing is if we can really get those fiat gateways into all the cryptos, if we can get USD, or just fiat pairings in general, it doesn't, not like USDT, I'm talking about gateways directly from the banks into a crypto, I think that would change it. For example, if you want to just straight up you use Coinbase, you only have 4 options. But if you could just straight up take your money from the bank and just buy some Icon, or buy some Elastos, or buy some Cardano, or just something like that, I think that would help to decouple Bitcoin from its relationship to all the other coins, which we constantly see all the time. But unfortunately right now, Bitcoin has the hugest market and the most liquidity. So it does tend to affect all the other coins as well. Just something to kind of keep in mind as we move forward. So guys, we do know everyone's talking about it. It's the big news of the day. So we have the countdown to EOS. So we have just about 2 days left. Everyone's getting extremely excited about this. So I wanted to kind of also talk about, so we have Chris Coney over here, and he did a really great video going into some of the tips that you guys might want to look into. We do realize that people want to know how to swap it out. What do we do? So yeah, Binance has said that they're going to cover it. You could potentially leave your coins on the exchange, but I'm going to drop a link in the description to this. It is, let's see how long this video is. It's a 45-minute video, but if you guys are really interested, I know Chris Coney, he's been really big on EOS. He was one of the early supporters of it, and he just goes into a whole bunch of tips and things. So I'm going to just kind of leave that there because that in itself could potentially be its own video. So if you're curious about everything EOS related, potentially to the mainnet, how how to swap tokens, what's going on, how it's going to work, how people are going to eventually be able to utilize the blockchain, et cetera, et cetera. Definitely check that video out as well. Speaking of other mainnets, we do have the Oyster mainnet also live. So that's another project that we were very, very excited for. And you can also utilize their Oyster storage by going to oysterstorage.com. And as you can see right here, you can upload and retrieve files. Very simple, not complex. So essentially you would just click here. You would upload whatever file you want by clicking here. And they say that currently no PRL Pearl is required to use the testnet. However, uploads are going to cost 1 Pearl per 64 gigabytes per year, which at the current price is fractions. It's really nothing. And then you can see right here, you can increase the years of retention. And yeah, so there you go. There's a working product up and going. So that's Oyster. Now, before we get into any more news, I kind of have to touch on this because this is something that people have brought to my attention. So John McAfee recently posted this, no hoax, the McAfee redemption unit is real and coming in 26 days. What is he talking about? Well, you can have a look right here. So over in this article, you see that he's going to launch a crypto-backed fiat currency. So people thought this was a joke, essentially. So here you can kind of see, now he purposely said he uploaded low resolution pictures because he didn't want to, I guess, have people copying it or whatever reason. So you see he has some people on here. He has Jihan Wu, Brock Pierce, Roger Ver, obviously him, his wife. So these are some of the denominations that'll be available for it. Now, he did say that each note will be connected to the blockchain via a single or numerous tokens. Now, here's like the crazy part. So these notes are going to be redeemed for an eye-to-eye meeting with McAfee himself. The denominations are distributed accordingly, which means that if you come into possession of a 1 McAfee coin, your meeting will last 1 minute, while a 50 note would grant you 50 minutes. However, it's not as simple as that. They say you need to show up between 1 and 3 only, turn in your note, and you receive a date, time, and address where you will meet John McAfee. The meeting place may be in any part of the world. The note will be archived. Only one set of notes may ever be redeemed by one individual. Maximum time allotted will be 100 minutes per person. So McAfee redemption units, MRU. There is a total of 341,000 notes that will be available. So I don't know, guys. This guy, he's just there. It's never a dull moment with this guy in crypto. So now we have McAfee redeemable units coming out in the form of crypto-backed fiat currency. I don't know, guys. So here's an interesting thing that I also noticed as well. So Binance recently listed Ripple BNB, XLM USDT, IOTA USDT, and also True USD to USDT. So dollars for dollars. I'm not quite understanding this trading pair. So you guys might be laughing, and it reminds you of the time that Spider-Man had to face himself, or maybe it was the Metapod versus Metapod battle that you guys are thinking about as well. But yeah, it's kind of strange. Like, okay, so I can exchange $1 for another dollar. But are you guys ready for conspiracy time? Here's what I started thinking. So if there's all of this concern about USDT, and whether or not they're just printing this money out of thin air, right? Like they're totally just, there's no proof, right? They don't have all the audits in line, so no one can really prove it. So what if these guys just print a whole bunch of USDT, which we don't know if it's backed by anything, and then they sell it or they convert it to true USD, which we know is backed by something, and you can actually cash out? That's interesting. And think about that. I mean, they're printing Tether, then they're selling their Tether for true USD, which you can actually redeem for real dollars. It's just something to think about, guys. I mean, I got to throw those conspiracies out there once in a while, guys. So, yeah, sorry, I just had to kind of throw these in there as well. So, getting on to other news, we do have Waltonchain introducing a wallet for iOS. Now, they're currently working to get it out. Apple, they're a little bit difficult sometimes with getting things out there. But this could be really, really awesome for Walton as well. And, they do have an article over here. Some of the key things that you just want to kind of note is that the wallet has a cold wallet function that does support offline usage. So obviously in a cold storage wallet, you guys do know that you can receive funds, but you can't send funds until you connect it to the internet or whatever, however way you want to send it. So that's really awesome that they're going to do cold storage. That's great news coming out of Walton as well. Speaking of some news, I completely overlooked the other day. I don't know how I overlooked this. So we have the Meta Union Alliance, okay? So it kind of reminds me of like the Interoperability Alliance, but now we have the Meta Union Alliance. So the Meta Union Alliance is going to consist of Matrix AI Network, TrustNote, Achain, Auora, and Elastos. So all members will work together to conduct blockchain research that will facilitate innovation, transform ideas into real-world utilities, and promote blockchain technology to the world. And here you can kind of see some pictures where they're just sort of, meeting up and talking and going over it as well. So that is pretty interesting news. Now, also speaking of Matrix AI Network, I did want to talk about, they had one of their weekly Q&As that came out. Some of the questions that were in here they might be of interest to you. One of them was, what are they going to do as far as launching the testnet? So they say the testnet is still on schedule for September, but they're trying to get their main network out by December 30th. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's slightly ahead of schedule. Now, we had just spoke about EOS before. They are also looking to have 21 delegated nodes as well. So this right away, people are thinking, okay, so this is going to be somewhat exactly like EOS. So they say the delegated nodes, which are the agents for transaction process, is going to be different from EOS supernodes because the delegate nodes of Matrix are randomly selected in every given period. Such a design is to maintain decentralization and fairness in the sense that the probability of a node staying as a delegate for many times is sufficiently low. We've seen a lot of things like this. A lot of consensus are trying to move to a more fair way, a more fair distribution. You've recently had QLC chain with Shannon consensus, okay? We've also had the hybrid proof of work, proof of stake with random selection from Fusion as well. So these are all ways that blockchains are going to move forward, making consensus a lot fairer and evenly distributed to everybody so that no one single entity has tons of power, over the consensus. So I think that's really awesome moving forward as well. Now, of course, I know I had to talk about this. So I briefly touched on Icon and TRIVE, how they joined forces, but what I forgot to mention was what the partnership actually entailed. So it's going to create an educational ecosystem involving blockchain. Furthermore, both entities will co-develop blockchain courses, which will become part of TRIVE's programming schools. Additionally, TRIVE will offer what they're referring to as green lane assessments of startups looking to access the Icon blockchain ecosystem. In doing so, both parties aim to speed up the development of new use cases and products using this technology. In the long run, both companies want to unify blockchain assets across Southeast Asia. So I really didn't touch on that yesterday. Wanted to kind of recap it. So that is really great news. Once again, coming out of all of these projects, really, when you look at it and at the whole. So another thing too is, so we have a first look at Enigma's secret contracts. Now this is from Consensus. But for a lot of people that were curious about what are secret contracts, how do they work, what is Enigma trying to do? So essentially, in a nutshell, to kind of just really quick dive into secret contracts, basically secret contracts are, I want to prove that something happened on the blockchain, but I don't want to give information to the specifics of that situation or of that transaction. Good example, say you're a school teacher. Or anything. You have a job, right? You get paid. You get a paycheck. I want to be able to validate the fact that I've been paid so I can prove that the transaction happened on the blockchain, but you can't physically see how much money or how much coins or tokens or whatever that I was paid, right? That's the whole concept behind it. So this is really great for enterprises, for these business solutions that they have this sensitive data and they don't really want to let the public see what's going on, but they still want to prove that the transactions happened. So there you go. I'll leave a link in the description for that. If you guys are interested, it goes into the whole thing and explains how it works as well. Now, moving on to another project as well is Travala or Travala. I'm not too sure. I think Travala, I think is how you pronounce it. So they were recently branded from Concierge, and they're basically doing, traveling destinations, booking on Neo blockchain. So they had a really great AMA right here. A lot of people had so many questions about how it's going to work, how the vendors work, how you can participate, etc., etc. And they actually have recently come out on Switch.io, which I heard that they're looking to look into other exchanges as well. Now, the reason that I bring this up is because I also did do an interview with them a while ago. So if you guys are interested, same company, same concept, just a completely rebrand. So for those people that are confused, are they different? No, they're the exact same company. They just rebranded. So if you're interested, I'll drop a link to that video as well if you want to learn a little bit more. What? Something just happened. So that being said, I also wanted to talk about more real-world use cases as well. So you do have the Block Show powered by Cointelegraph, and there was this one... Well, you had SelfSell founder Mr. Lee Yuan. Now, I had an opportunity to do an interview with these guys. This is one of those projects that you've actually heard people almost joke about it, right? You've heard people joke about, we're going to tokenize everything. Everyone's going to have their own token. I'm going to have a KW coin, and you're going to have a, a Lisa coin or a John coin or whatever, And the funny thing is that SelfSell is actually looking to do that. Now, I've spoken about this before. I do have an interview with SelfSell, which I'll also include in the description as well if you're curious. But they were really excited that they had their JR token. So James Rodriguez, if you guys don't know who he is, he's essentially a football player. He's actually, if you're in America, he's a soccer player. So he was the first to release the JR10 token. And the whole concept is, say you are like a student or something like that, and maybe you can't afford it, or you're an aspiring athlete, you're an aspiring musician or something of that nature, and essentially you can tokenize yourself and people can invest in your ICO for a percentage of your success, essentially. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. Smart contracts that can release funds over time as you have your own milestones. Say like your milestone, if you're an athlete, is to make the team or something, right? And you make the team and then like some funds get released or some stuff like that. I don't know. So I thought that was a really great concept. Very, very interesting. One of the most unique projects that I've really seen. So I figured I would just give that a shout out as well. We also have some new tokens coming out. You have IOST token just released on ZebPay. We also have Achain. They're saying that they're excited to finally get released on CoinEx. You also have some interesting pairs with ACT to XRP and ACT to INR. So that's a pretty interesting pair as well. So here we are, guys. We're in the market. It's moving sideways. We're looking at it. What's going on? So here we were in the beginning of March, right? We were up and then we came down. We hit this all-time low and everybody got really depressed in April, and then it went back up again, and then we kind of went back down again. So what is happening? What is going on, guys? Well, it looks like there's just a lot of price discovery going on. We're trying to figure these markets out. There was so much exuberance that happened at the late last year, early in the beginning, that I think we're just trying to find our comfort zone. We're trying to figure out, what are these projects worth? What is their actual value, right? So while this is all happening in the background, instead of racking your brains, people are like, what do you do? Well, you know what you could do? You could educate yourself. Sounds kind of corny, but you can. So I actually had the opportunity to come over here and I was looking at these different websites. So there's masterthecrypto.com that I just found out on a Reddit post. This is a really awesome website. They have all this just insane information. They talk about different styles or different types of coins, different sectors, from currencies to just everything, grid computing, etc. Yeah, so it just is a lot, guys. So if you want, you could check that out as well. And another thing too is I found from changenow.io, they have these series of common cryptocurrency terms that they put out. So for people that are new to the space, maybe if there's certain things, there's certain terminology that confuses you in the crypto space. I know for me, it was a bit of a steep learning curve when I first got into it. So yeah, key pairs, legacy addresses, Litecoin, market cap, mempool, mining, miner fee, node, phishing, etc., replay attacks, SegWit, to the moon, UTXO. So there's that one. And then you also they have a link down here. Also, check this out. Definity Community Airdrop is here. That's interesting. Maybe you guys can look at that while you're down there. So yeah, and then here you go, Cryptocurrency Part 1, Block Explorer. So if you guys are interested, I'll drop a link as well. This is really cool. You guys can learn a little bit. And I guess my one little bit of adoption today, really the only thing that I could find, is you have the headphone manufacturer Monster Products Incorporated. They were the inventor of Beats headphones. They're going to launch a $300 million ICO, which I'm just going to be honest with you guys, $300 million, that's extremely high. We saw what kind of happened with the Telegram ICO, which was just absurd, the amount of money that they were trying to reach, but they're planning to issue 500 million Monster Money Network tokens, selling 60% in its ICO. They say the holders of the tokens may convert all or part of their tokens to common stock of the company at a ratio of 4 tokens to 1 share of common stock in the event that our tokens shall not have become publicly tradable on June 30th, 2020, or our tokens shall have ceased trading publicly due to certain government enforcement actions on June 30th, 2020. So basically, in a nutshell, what they're saying is even if this thing totally flops, your tokens will not be rendered useless. You'll just have to wait until 2 years from now to be able to buy monster stock using those tokens. So in a way, they are kind of like monster stock in a way. So that's what they're saying. So basically, guys, that's it for the day. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday, depending on where you are. Tomorrow's Friday. We're obviously gearing up for the weekend. We haven't seen too much insane price action, so it's another good opportunity to load up for dollar cost averaging, should you choose to do so, or simply just relax, enjoy yourself. It's crypto. No stress, guys. So that being said, I want to say thanks again for everyone coming back to my channel. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto, and peace out.
Oh, no.